All right, aloha and welcome, fellow shifters and light guardians, back to another Paradigm Shift Circle. This is a recorded version, and today's topic is on the question, what is community to you? So for those of you who aren't entirely familiar, I'll just give a quick introduction, and then we'll just go over a couple starting notes for the Paradigm Shift Circle, and then we'll get right into the discussion. Again, the Paradigm Shift Circles, these take place on our Discord server Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. EDT, and they're voice-only conscious conversations facilitated by leading members in the community. Generally, they're non-recorded. Sometimes we do record them, and today is a recorded version. And again, we record these not only to be able to help just share and document the inspiration, but of course to be able to help invite people back to future Paradigm Shift Circles. So again, make sure you connect into the Discord to be able to join in for future ones there, even just to listen or to practice participating. And I'll also just mention, if you notice my sound on my voice sounds like a little echoey, I apologize. It's just due to the room that I'm currently in. But with that said, we'll move right along and we'll get into just a few house notes for the start of the circles, and then we'll get right into today's discussion. So to start things off, thank you again, everyone, for joining today's Paradigm Shift Circle. Before we get started, here are a few guidelines and reminders. Paradigm Shift Central Circles are an intentional sacred digital space created to host inspirational conscious conversations to nurture our spirits and build community. Circles are not recorded unless mentioned otherwise. At the end of the circle, a screenshot will be taken to show the names of those in attendance, but you are welcome to opt out of that if you wish. We will let you know beforehand when the screenshot will be taken. Please respect the instructors and the instructions of the facilitators of the circle. Please respect the intention of space. Please respect your fellow members. You're welcome to simply listen in or to speak in the circle. To step on stage and speak in the circle, please use the hand raise button and wait to be brought on stage by a facilitator. Once up on stage, please wait for the facilitator's prompt to speak. If you are already on stage and wish to speak, next, please blink your microphone by clicking the mute and unmute button a few times and wait for the facilitator's prompt. Circles generally go up until the top of the hour. We will conclude with gratitude at 5 minutes of the hour. Please tell your friends and invite others who may be interested. If you have not already, please feel free to check out the Patreon, where you can join as a leading member in the community to help support these circles and other events. Thank you so much for joining and contributing, and enjoy. So with that said, we'll get right into today's discussion. So the topic for today: what is community to you? And so whenever we do these circles, again, it's an opportunity for us to just be able to practice dropping into our heart space and reflecting on this question and exploring what the answer is, and knowing that the answer is always evolving over time. And so I'll just start by answering this question, and then we'll pass it over to the next person when they are ready. And if anybody is ready to go at any point, just go ahead and blink your microphone, and then we'll pass it over to you. And anybody else who is just joining in, thank you for joining, and please feel free to raise your hand when you are ready to be able to come up on stage. So I'll just keep talking until I see somebody else blink a microphone, and then I'll pass it over to the next person. So to me, what is community to you? What is community to us? And, with any of these discussion topics that we choose for the circles, there's always an intention behind it. And what is community? And, to me, community is catalyst. To me, community is an opportunity for us to be able to see more of ourselves through the reflection in the space that we share with others. There's a lot that we can learn by ourselves, but there are literally moments within our journey where we need community, where we need to be able to come together with someone else, with something outside of ourselves that is essentially still a part of ourselves. And so when you even just think about what the word community is, it literally is this idea of unity. You can't spell community without unity, and it's the communion, it's the coming together, it's the merging. And so community is something that can be a group of 20 at the same time. And community can literally be one or two people, and even still, community, roughly speaking, you could even say you can be in community with something that is not even the same species as you. So it's you can be in community with animals, or you can be in community with the forest. That's kind of stretching the definition a little bit when you kind of take it to that perspective. But even still, to me, community is such a powerful and an important part of the collective shift in consciousness, because when we're in community, it creates this ability for us to be able to accelerate each other's growth. It gives us the opportunity to be able to see how we show up in the lives of others. And so to me, community is an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to share. It's an opportunity to share inspiration and to collectively deepen our roots together. And this is where, again, I kind of love these phrases that you'll usually hear me speak within the idea of paradigm shift, where, it's this idea of as the water rises, so does every ship. And that to me really, really connects to what community is about, where community is about bringing people together to work towards bigger visions, something that is beyond the one individual. And so whether you're calling it a community or whether you're calling it a team, again, I think team is a style of community. Team is a part of community that is specifically working towards like common objectives. But at the same time, community is also a space where we celebrate our individual objectives. We celebrate the individual life path that we are on, and we really just practice like holding space for that and honoring. And so again, community for me is an opportunity to really be able to deepen our connection to ourselves and to others, and to celebrate and to be inspired. And community has changed my life. And that's where, again, for the people who are joining in today, I really invite you to be able to reflect on this question of what is community to you, based on how has community changed you? How has it transformed you? How has it been a part of your journey? What has it brought into your reality that maybe wasn't entirely there before? Shira, I can see you blinking your mic, so I'll pass it over to you in a second, and I'll just finish this thought. And anybody else who wants to practice coming up on stage, your hand, and we'll bring you up. And anybody who wants to speak after Shira, please feel free to blink your microphone at any time. And so, yeah, community is the key. I think there's it's an African proverb where it basically says, like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, right? So community is what is needed to be able to do things that the individual can't do by themselves. But even still, when we come together in community, it's also this practice of operating as a bigger version of ourselves, where we kind of like begin to develop like a hive mind consciousness. And we see this throughout nature. We see literal hives, like bumblebee beehives, where they operate as, again, as a kind of like a collective consciousness, and ants and everything like that, and just any sort of like animal, and humans do this. And I think, again, when we bring consciousness into community, it becomes very powerful, because it gives us the opportunity to collectively focus our intention, pulling something out. Community is really the blank template, but what we bring into community is what defines it. Because you can have a community of people that are just like into something they're passionate about. You can have a community of people that, quite frankly, are jerks. But I think, again, if you bring together the intention of gathering people in community with conscious awareness, that for me becomes a very, very powerful catalyst, where the community literally serves as a portal for transformation. And those who involve themselves in that community, simply by being present and being in that space of welcoming and celebration and support and integrity and authenticity, it gives them the space to be able to transform themselves. And having that intention within the community, where it's like, this community is here to be able to spiritual consciousness, all of these things to help us evolve as creators, as leaders. So much of what I talk about here within Paradigm Shift. So there's more to be able to say on it. I'll pass it over to Shira, and then from there, anybody else who would like to be able to practice coming up on stage, please feel free to raise your hand, and we will keep passing the talk and stick around. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining and for being a part of this beautiful practice of community that we have here today. So Shira, when you are ready, I will pass it over to you, and then after that, I'll pass it to the next person, or I'll keep talking for a little bit longer. So Shira, go right ahead and welcome.
All of your thoughts on community. And I think community is really everything. The people you and spend your time with literally breaks you or makes you. And so to really like heal and then come from this place of like, and then really sit your community look like, and what do you want to bring in your own space? Can be a liberating experience, because yeah, a lot of times we don't have that choice, that conscious choice of choosing that community. And and community also means to really accept and embrace all of the differences we all have, and that's where our strength lies. And one person can be really good at the emotional work, and another person can be really good at uplifting you, and another is really good at the monetary stuff, and another one's really good at creativity. And just to embrace that is so beautiful, and to not get by that and overwhelmed by that is an active practice. And to be able to like merge both of your unique aspects and not let any of those be sacrificed can be quite wonderful. And I've been I reading this book called Anatomy of Loneliness, and which is all about figuring out why you're lonely and how you can change that. And it talks about how the one reason why we end up finding ourselves in a lonely place is because we're um, assuming that if we bring in another person's experience and opinions and thoughts and feelings into our life, then we're going to have to sacrifice something. But then, like, that book beautifully points you towards how you can have all of you and have all of the other person at the same time. And that's what community is to me, where we all just come together and we explore all of who we are.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Shira, so much. And absolutely, I love that idea. And again, for anybody else who would like to practice coming up on stage, please feel free to raise your hand. And Ashley, if you want to go next, just go ahead and blink your microphone, and I'll keep talking today. And we got it's interesting because we do the paradigm shift circles, and it's always a different crowd every day. And again, you know, this circle here, and Joshua, I'll bring you up on stage and we can pass over to you. Again, you know, this circle is a practice, and it's a practice of co-creating. And as Shira is saying, you know, like what's beautiful about community is this idea that, you know, we get to be able to share in being able to carry something, in moving something, in assembling something, in building something. You know, when you think about community, something, for example, as epic as like building the pyramids, like, can one person not? It literally takes a collective, it takes a community, it takes a bunch of people working together, coordinated, and then continuing to move forward step by step by step by step. And so again, you know, these practices here within these circles, within what we do in the community through other events and broadcasts, you know, like these in themselves are little events where we get to practice kind of like showing up together to be able to create something. And I love what Shira was saying, and I'll just say this, and Joshua, I can pass over to you in a second, where, you know, for me, building community, I love kind of going into the mythos of thinking of it very much as like building like a team of superheroes. And within this team of superheroes, we have all of these different characters, and they all have their different abilities. And I think that's what's beautiful about community, is when you create a community that celebrates the difference between individuals, opposed to trying to make them all one thing. You know, there may be common themes that they carry and common visions, but it's like how we express that, or skill sets that we bring into the community are going to be unique and are going to be celebrated. And so that's where, again, you know, within the paradigm shift community, I love just kind of reiterating this idea. It's like, dude, like, we are literally like a team of superheroes, and each one of us has our different abilities. You know, it's like, oh, this person may be really good at like doing like, you know, singing, and then this person's really good at graphics, and then this person's really good at back-end management, and then this person's really good at, you know, like promotions and stuff. And so, you know, within the paradigm shift community, it is a practice. And another metaphor that I like is also the metaphor of thinking of it as like a ship, like an old boat, or literally like a spaceship, and vehicle to get from one place to the other. But the only way for it to get there to reach that common destination is if people are working on the ship together, because there are different parts of the ship, and the ship's going to need like it's going to need someone, you know, like manning the, like it's going to need someone on the mast, it's going to need someone on the deck, it's going to need someone below, it's going to need someone in the boiler room, it's going to need someone in like the engineering deck, and someone in the observation outpost, like all of these like different things, you know, like you think of, I love just, and again, I know I'm just kind of getting excited here, but again, you know, I think of things like Star Trek, you know, in Star Trek, right? Like it was a team, it was a community of people working together to be able to kind of form like a bigger organism, and that organism was Starfleet, or it was the Enterprise. And so again, you know, like here within Paradigm Shift, it's like we're all individuals, but it's like together we are the Paradigm Shift central ship, you know, the USS Paradigm Shift or something like that. So it's exciting because again, you know, when we work together as a community, we can literally reach places that we can't reach by ourselves. And I think along our journey, there are literally going to be moments in our life where we'll be by ourselves, and then the universe will be like, you need someone else to get further. And that's not a sign of weakness. I think the universe actually almost engineers itself this way to kind of like direct us to what. And I think the YouTube might have glitched a bit. Hopefully it's still working. My internet's a little janky. So Joshua, I'll pass it over to you. And when you're ready, please feel free to share. And anybody else, please feel free to raise your hand and come up on stage when you're ready. So Joshua, welcome, and pass it over to you. And we'll just make sure. Yeah, Joshua, you're ready to go now? Is that cool?
Thank you for sharing,
All right,
Brendan. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because so yeah, you definitely are cutting in and out. I wasn't sure if that was you. So you like community to me is definitely like people that we feel comfortable with communicating with. And I kind of struggled with the paradox a little bit, like a little over a month ago, of, you know, like everything, like we have everything we need within us, but at the same time, like we need community. And you've touched on it, like community is the key. And like to me, I've kind of put that, you know, into, yeah, it's like community is the key to unlock the door to go like deeper within ourselves. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how I consolidated that paradox. Um, yeah, and sometimes, like you just said, we do sometimes just need people to listen to us, like so that we can get our ideas out. And when sometimes you say an idea, and then it makes much less sense just saying it out loud than it does in your head. So it's good to kind of learn from that. But yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joshua. And we'll keep going from there. Anybody else who wants to be able to speak next, again, just please feel free to blink your microphone. And anybody else in the audience, please feel free to raise your hand. If someone did just blink their yeah, Ashley? Okay, cool. All right, we'll pass it over to Ashley. And yeah, we'll see. I'm not 100% sure if the recording for this is going to hold up. So we'll see. We'll see. But nonetheless, I'm happy that we're practicing here. So Ashley, I'll pass it over to you, and welcome back. Go right ahead.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when you live in our dream. Oh, I love you guys so much. Community to me is this. It's building together and growing together and sharing the love together. I really don't have anything else to say other.
And again, you know, like I think in many ways, like we share a lot of connection, but the places where we don't share connection, again, you know, it's the lack of community. It's the lack of even if you don't, you know, like that's the thing, right? Like even if you don't fully have the exact same perspective. Oh, 1 second.
and my support circle.
There we go. Okay, sorry, I don't.
I'm
My
like, okay, you guys help me with, yeah.
yeah, go. Yeah, my internet's messed up, which is kind of unfortunate. I was
Okay,
hoping
that's
to record this one properly today, but is what it is. Go ahead, Shira. We'll just pass it over to you, and we'll just keep going. I think this is going to basically be a non-recorded one today, unfortunately. But go ahead, Shira. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have done that in the past. I would have like wanted to figure it out all on my own. And so how do we really consciously decide that okay, I can always reach out to somebody out there, and that's okay. And it's a little bit uncomfortable to start doing that. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about that.
I'm not sure if I caught like the beginning part of that, to be honest. But yeah, again, you know, like I think community does have the ability to be able to help each other like get outside of our comfort zone, and to help each other like feel safe. I think that's where, you know, community can be radically transformational, because I think oftentimes, you know, depending on the community that we're around, like just because you're in community doesn't mean that it's healthy, right? Like there's with anything, you know, that it's a balance, right? So you can be involved in a community and be like, whoa, okay, like I'm in a community, and then, you know, it really encourages me to be able to like show up in a way for something that's bigger than myself, and to be in a place of like accountability and again, you know, this shared joy and this shared excitement of being able to co-create something together. So for anybody else here who would like to practice sharing, please feel free to unblink your microphone and we can pass it over to you. And yeah, I'm thinking like even with this conversation today, I'm like, oh man, like it might not record properly. So I'm like, oh, I might end up, maybe I'll record like another video of this at another time, because it is just like a topic that I really do adore. And I love the kind of the meta-ness of it, of like coming together as community to ask ourselves what community is. But I think that's what community should be. You know, a good community is a community that really does reflect on itself and really check in and be like, hey, like, you know, where are we right now? Where have we been? Where are we going? And so, you know, having those common visions, those common goals, those aspirations, things to work towards, but also still being able to like find that connection to the present moment, and allowing ourselves to be able to like play with a variety of energies, be it, you know, energies that at time can be very playful, and then energies at time that can be very serious, you know, as need be, and then energies that can be very healing and creative and dynamic. And yeah, again, you know, community is like a container, and then it's a question of, well, what do we want to fill that container with? So we'll like I said, if anybody else would like to be able to practice sharing, please feel free to blink your microphone and we can pass it over to you. And we'll keep going for a bit, and if we feel like we're ready to be able to wrap it up a little bit early today, I'm totally cool with that, and I appreciate everybody hanging out here together. And yeah, if anybody else would like to be able to go next, please feel free to blink your microphone. And I'm always curious to hear, again, you know, what is community to you? So if there's anybody who'd like to go, again, just please feel free to blink their microphone, and otherwise I'll just practice talking some more. So Ashley, go ahead, you're welcome to speak.
I just want to say thank you to Shira for letting us know that when she was having a hard time, she did reach out to the community for support.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Joshua, did you want to go next? Am I like still super choppy for you guys? Like, how bad is it?
No. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like
Oh,
I think sometimes you just miss. Sometimes, like I think Shira did talk, but then you
Yeah.
not heard it because it was choppy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was happening. Yours was coming through okay there, Joshua, but yeah. Well, yeah, I think today's recording is kind of botched anyway, so it's not a huge deal. But Joshua, did you want to add in anything? And Shira, thank you again, and I apologize. I wasn't like, I could hear energetically, but I couldn't literally hear. So, Joshua, if you want to try speaking again.
I don't really have anything to add right now. We've hit a lot right today.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try stopping the recording on this. If this did pick up some stuff on YouTube, then that's cool. But nonetheless, we'll just today was a practice round, and I just want to be able to kind of redirect the bandwidth into the call. So thank you for those of you who may have been watching on YouTube, and apologies for the technical hiccups, but nonetheless.